Expectations. Would it bring them undone? Well, Eloise Southby-Halbish is with me in commentary to find out. And the Thunderbirds begin the game in possession. They'll be looking for some early confidence-boosting, settling goals, and a step against Laura Bomberto. Great pressure early from the Swifts defence.
It was great pressure. It was actually a great attacking play by the Thunderbirds then to come out that centre pass. Unfortunate that it was a stepping there.
Green. So the team sheets look this way, and there are no surprises. Cox, Pratley, Green, Gilson and Gerard at wing defence. Now, she may swap with Broadbent across the match. We'll see how that goes. Liz Ellis and Julie Fitzgerald. So many of those players and the coach have been together for so long. Heinrich, Medhurst, Laura and Nat Bomberto. A little bit of discussion about whether they'd start in reversed roles. Kirby Mutton, Chops at wing defence. Poynton and Reddy, but they've got great defenders on the bench if those two aren't doing the job.
That was a very lucky play there for the Thunderbirds. Nearly another step or held ball to Laura Bomberto, but they've come away from it.
And Heinrich progresses a little closer, and contact on the goaling arm.
And you can certainly tell there's nerves in the air. Oh. You know, there's been a few turnovers, a missed goal, but second shot for Heinrich there, but this is what big games do to players. They need to settle. All of them will settle in the next 5 minutes.
Goal third.
Yes, the Swifts have had 2 weeks to think about this after they beat the Thunderbirds in the major semi and won the right to host the grand final. And it's into the circle for Cox. Reddy's out of play. Points and defending. So 1-1 in the opening moments of the grand final. Mutton, Medhurst, Nat Bomberto. And Laura Bomberto forced a little bit of fancy footwork. Broadbent's out of the circle. Can't get it in. Medhurst.
Contact, wing defence.
There's no room around that circle at all. Heinrich finally gets a bit of space baseline. Has to give it back. Medhurst. Important first shot. Held ball. Well done, Liz Ellis. Not what Medhurst wanted to start with. Gerard. Broadbent. And Gilson. There are going to be a few turnovers in the first 5 minutes, Ella.
There will be, and certainly what the Swifts have got to do now is play patient netball. Great feed then into Coxie.
And the left thigh quite heavily strapped Kath Cox after a late collision in the major semi, which is obviously fine. And the Swifts with the early break. Gerard.
I think that strapping would just be preventative now.
Yeah, she said she was fine at training this week. Certainly able to lunge forward to take that ball. Held ball this time against Cox.
That was actually a quick 3, that one.
I tell you, there'll be some defenders watching this going, about time.
Yeah.
They reckon you goalers get a soft time with the 3 seconds.
Pausing.
You can tell the players are all going in hard here at the initial few minutes of the game. They're being put out of play a few times.
Heinrich to Medhurst. I don't think she got much closer, but might feel better for the pass.
That's much better there by Medhurst. She didn't worry about what Liz Ellis was doing on the shot. She turned and put it up. Be confident in your ability. They have the ability, these goalers.
Heinrich under huge pressure from Ellis. Oh, I think she helped push her out of court.
Yeah, I think so too, Steve. Unfortunate there from Heinrich.
And got Heinrich for offside. Yeah, ultimately.
It was a great little tip there by Natalie Bomberto. Selena Gilson stopped on the drive and she came over the top.
Green to Pratley. On to Cox, Gilsonen. Cox at the knees, takes it and shoots very assuredly. There's a great racket here at home, which this venue is absolutely chock-a-block. There's no seats to be had. It was sold out earlier. Pratley the contact. Whoops. That's a very loose one, and Heinrich lucky to come up with it. Throw in. Oh, Ellis was doing a lot to keep Medhurst out of play here.
Was very lucky there.
All her tricks are on display here.
It's just the, we'll say, the fact that she has played in so many grand finals as well. She just knows the knack of going in hard early, and that's what she'll do. She'll try and stamp her authority.
Advantage contact centre.
Medhurst, sort of mid-distance shot. Broadbent holding off. Oh, air ball.
Was way off. She was a bit nervous on that shot.
Swifts by 1. 5 minutes gone. Just the 5 goals scored. Quite a low scoring, nervous, tentative start.
Oh, brilliant. Read that so well.
Over a third, not touched by Laura Bomberto. Must have got the nod, I think, from Sharon Kelly that it hadn't been touched. Good teamwork between the umpires, and they are a mini team. Broadbent steadying it down. Centre third for the Swifts. Gilsonen steps away from Nat Bomberto. Opens it up for Pratley.
Holding wing defence.
The Thunderbirds are playing a tight one-on-one defensive pressure all the way down the court.
Cox and the Swifts by 2. Thunderbirds centre pass. Thunderbirds have found it really tough to get into their attacking circle. A lot of penalties early.
There are, and there's been a few on Monia Gerard as well. She's getting caught for the flick, the arm coming round. She needs to take an extra step onto it and try and go for the intercept cleanly.
Medhurst rakes the ball away from Broadbent. That's a better shot.
Great screen by Heinrich. That's what you need to do. Put the pressure there so Liz Ellis can't have a jump at the shot.
Gilsonen, Pratley. Pratley again. Just working away towards the circle as Cox comes out. Pratley's there. Doesn't want to shoot.
Offside. Free pass.
Offside.
Contact. Goal kick. Goal defence.
Contact
Pass
against
shot.
Poynton. Pratley has yet to have a shot. Doesn't matter as Cox goals her 5th from as many attempts. Julie Fitzgerald looks like it's just another day in the park. Pausing call.
I think she actually fell over on that one, so it's a bit unfortunate.
Gilsonen. Gerard under plenty of pressure. Green.
Great pressure here by the Thunderbirds.
It's almost a rugby pass that Monia Gerard fires from the hip occasionally. Something she learned from Mark, I'd say. As Cox puts them out by 3. Liz Ellis pretty pleased with the start so far. It's slow going, but it's steady progress away from the Thunderbirds. Pratley is acting like another feeder. Oh, Gilsonen gets it back off a Thunderbird hand. Cox swings it to Green. And now Pratley's in great position to put up her first.
What I'd say about the Thunderbirds' defence is that Poynton is just a little bit off the pace. She's sort of floating in no man's land. So you've either got to be one-on-one or you've got to be purposely making your dictating play. And I think that's something she's not doing at this point.
There was the roll from Heinrich. Neither Ellis nor Broadbent could get near it. I don't think we're going to see too many shots put up by Heinrich or Medhurst that don't involve a penalty beforehand. The way they're playing.
Well, they're going in hard, certainly the Swifts defenders, but it's good if you keep making sure you grab hold of everything and you get them out of play. That's where you want them as a goaler. You want them standing next to you.
Well, they wear down the umpires, though. They'll run out of whistle.
No, surely they won't.
Green. Broadbent. Oh. Laura Bomberto and Monia Gerard, Aussie teammates, come clashing together. Pratley. The corner is Green. Cox at the post. That was a game pass.
It was great. Eyes were down from Poynton, so the ball came like a bullet. When you have a look here, Gerard takes it, and the penalty set up for her.
Poynton. Long ball to Medhurst. And Nat Bomberto worked her way to the front. Off Gerard after the tip from Ellis. They're really muscling up in defence there. We knew they would. And it's got them a 4-goal lead so far. Gilsonen. The Swifts have settled into this game. They're quite happy to play it around in the middle.
They are certainly just taking their time, making sure they hit a target until they get a goaling opportunity.
Cox, get out of here. That's confidence.
It's fantastic play by the Swifts. She's stepping onto one foot, pops it up, and in it goes.
Green.
Wing defence. Wing attack, you can't retaliate like that.
Kimberly Green put in his place by Sharon Kelly for retaliating with the elbow.
And she's called for retaliation.
Oh, and a little knee in the belly as well from Bianca Reddy from Kath Cox. Oh, Broadbent had a good look. Out it comes. Off Ellis and Heinrich. Heinrich trying to screen Ellis out of the play. Medhurst should make sure of this. Get them back to within 4.
Hold time, please. Need a towel.
I think Broadbent ended up going down, and look what happens is you do sweat a lot, and there's a lot of sweat on that, you know, gets in the skirt, so it's just safer to actually wipe it up, particularly in the goal ring.
So 4:30 left in the first quarter. A low-scoring one, especially from the Thunderbirds' point of view. It's pretty frantic, difficult to get into scoring position. And some very quick hands out there. Heinrich getting herself in good position to stop Ellis.
There's a bit of pushing and shoving going on between both players. It's going to be interesting what Nikki Boyd, the umpire, is going to call in the end, whether Heinrich's forcing or Ellis is pushing in too much, because she's entitled to have her 3 feet.
It's just about out of control in that circle.
And when you look at this, Heinrich standing there, but she moves in slightly. And then Liz Ellis gives her a bit of a shove.
Pratley. And the Swifts in this quarter have not missed with their 10 attempts. The lads at that end dressed in their netball skirts, they look a treat, don't they, Ella?
They do.
So it's mostly Cox, but I tell you, it's all Swifts with no misses.
Obstruction, deliberate, shot or pass.
Obstruction, deliberate, yeah.
Sneaky play. Ellie Broadbent knew she could not get that ball, so she stuck her hand out when she wasn't 3 feet.
I think Nikki Boyd's doing the right thing there. She's got to assert herself in that circle because the players are playing right on the fringes and beyond of the law.
Well, one thing about Nikki Boyd, this umpire, she actually plays netball, and it's a great thing because she can understand what it's like to play in finals and how intense it is.
And Sharon Kelly would be maybe the #1 umpire in the world. Swifts back out by 4, under 3 in the first. There are the lads. I don't know if they come to the game dressed like that. They're dressed here. Ellis!
That was a bad decision by the Thunderbirds. You never put high balls up in the Liz Ellis region. She's going to eat those ones.
She's got at least as good a vertical jump as she ever had. Cox, ouch.
And when you look at this one, a high ball, one-on-one to Liz Ellis in the circle, you never do it.
Gilsonen. Oh, Cox had to take a strong ball in front of Reddy. And she just had the stronger hands.
It was bad luck by Reddy. She just didn't pull it in hard enough.
Swifts by 6. They led 13-11 at quarter time in the major semi a fortnight ago. They've improved yet again. So if you're a Swifts fan who was worried about how they might go with the week off, I don't think you'd be too worried right now.
Contact, advantage offside.
Green thought she might have got the penalty go the other way. Nice try. Medhurst anchors the left foot, pivots on it.
Great setup by the Thunderbirds. What they did is they brought it on to the top of the circle and let Medhurst flow in at the end, with Heinrich keeping the other 2 busy on the base. When you have a look, Medhurst there flicks it off and then comes in nicely at the top while Heinrich's keeping the others busy.
13-8 the Swifts. 90 seconds left in the first quarter. They've got the start they wanted. Pratley. Gilsonen. Well taken.
Oh, they've called Catherine Cox for contact, I think, for pushing in again. It's been called by Sharon Kelly a number of times this season for backing in.
Well, she does push out the derriere from time to time. Laura Von Berto's open. Heinrich putting some moves on. Go for, on the ball. Liz Ellis.
That move from Medhurst worked again. So Heinrich doing a great job to keep Liz Ellis and Ellie Broadbent stuck on that baseline.
Heinrich, baseline, long way from home. Laura Von Berto. Medhurst trying to get to the front. Heinrich's down.
One thing the Thunderbirds aren't afraid of is to go back to the transverse line to set up their attacking play.
And Sean Mungovan, who was holding up the number of seconds left. He's about 10 seconds out by our clock, but it doesn't matter. That's the Thunderbirds need to hurry up here, get the shot away. 10 seconds now. Medhurst, plenty of time, and sweet as.
That's always nice to finish a quarter like that. Nice, sweet shot, that one.
And there is quarter time, and a nice little run there from the Thunderbirds to get themselves back in it. They scored 3 unanswered goals, and they only try. Second quarter action. Here we go. Poynton.
Advantage contact, goal attack.
And it'll be interesting to see how Sharon Kelly takes care of this end with Broadbent and Ellis playing it so tough on Heinrich and Medhurst.
Now have a look at this defensive setup by the Swifts. They're setting up that 4 square zone defence, so they're floating into a space and making it very hard to come down the midcourt to feed in for the Thunderbirds.
Heinrich. Just 3 from 3. It's quite surprising to see Medhurst stepping up and taking the majority of the work, and very encouraging for her after she had a pretty average game against the Swifts in the major semi. So the confidence not lacking. That's great to see.
It is. It's what you need, particularly in a grand final, to come up against one of the world's best as well, and to really be dominant and strong.
Poynton apparently gave Pratley a bit of a hand to the floor.
And the crowd absolutely giving it to her as well.
And young Susan Pratley totally unfazed.
Well, certainly, look, it was a wrap around there. It was a Harvey. She's learnt that from Catherine Harvey-Williams.
No goal, causing contact, shooter.
And Heinrich caused the contact, so no goal there. Karen Kelly seeing plenty going on. Broadbent. The umpires have absolutely got their hands full with the players wanting to play it this way. Cox, ready, says, I'll have that if you don't want it.
It was probably a bad ball to throw to Cox. When you've got a defender right up your hammer, you don't want to get the ball given to you.
Oh, Liz Ellis needed to pull out of that one. She was beaten for pace by Nat Bomberto here.
Well, she certainly was. But look, she was probably an extra step away, and she thought she'd have a go, just to make sure they know she's there.
You're trying to calm me down, aren't you? I thought it was a bit late. But,
it's going to happen in these matches.
Liz Ellis wants it so bad.
Doesn't she?
She will do what it takes. Medhurst. All the way back to Chops Mutton. Who's got it? Gerard.
Fantastic pick up by Gerard there.
She's quick, and she wants the ball. No look pass off to the right for Green.
Lucky that Green even knew it was coming.
I think you expect the unexpected if you're in a team with Gerard. But it's Cox with a long step in for the shot.
Beautiful shooting there. So step in, and you're a little bit off balance when you do take that step, and to then have a swish shot, it's pretty good.
Advantage goal attack break.
Gilson and Broadbent. Cox under a little bit of pressure. She did well to get a hand to it, Nat Bomberto.
She certainly does, and it was disappointing that Poynton just couldn't get there to pick that up, that flick up.
Disappointing?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. Cox.
Boom, boom.
16-11. Poynton to Bomberto on her own there. Nat Medhurst has got a lot of traffic to clear. And goes. Sees the team 5 down. This quarter and the next, absolutely crucial for the Thunderbirds. The middle half of the match, if I can describe it like that, in the major semi, the Swifts won at 33-15, the second and third quarter combined. That's a hammering at this level. Heinrich, bit of a juggle.
Oh, fantastic shot, because there was bodies clashing everywhere then.
And she was close to the 3, I reckon.
Probably nearly over, but we'll give her that one.
I think we have to. It's on the scoreboard.
Yep.
Green. Oh, Cox. What happened there to Reddy?
I think Reddy needs just to change her shoes like Heinrich. She just slipped over then.
Yeah, she's just checked a bit of moisture on the floor, perhaps. That's the end that's had the players falling. Wilson trying to stop Laura Bomberto falling over. The penalties are big. The Swifts 28-18.
And they're huge, particularly on the outside of the Thunderbirds' goal circle, because what they're trying to do is not get that flow on the ball. The Swifts are smart. They're trying to stop the play here.
contact, goal defence.
Contact against Broadbent. Heinrich was just too quick there. Oh, that was short. And Ellis took a bit of a knock to the face in her chase for the rebound. Gerard bounces it to Pratley. Oh, footwork, the pivoting. If you slow down to watch it, no wonder the umpires have a lot of trouble absolutely knowing for sure who's stepped and who hasn't. I'll tell you what, the feet are flashing. Pratley.
Great shot there. What Pratley did well was actually follow in.
Gilson. Broadbent.
Okay, the Thunderbirds here putting on a floaty defence, floating, so they're taking up space rather than playing on the body.
Gilson.
Advantage contact, Gwen.
Good split from Kath Cox. That'll test the legs on the back. She's short.
On the ball.
She was there for the rebound, though.
Yeah, unfortunate for Reddy. She has to get round and get those rebounds. It's what Liz Ellis is doing at the other end.
Swifts by 7. A simultaneous call from umpires, Kelly and Boyd. Pointon to take it. Umberto's working in concert.
That was actually very lucky for the Thunderbirds. Medhurst is not going that extra step and hard enough to the ball at this point.
Medhurst on target tonight. 9 from 11, 104 from 5. The Swifts have only missed one attempt. Oh, Pratley, Gilson and right with her.
Outside the circle.
Reddy's
outside the circle.
Being placed outside. Pratley's in great position here to add. 7 the difference. So it's a 7-3-quarter so far for the Swifts. Very light on her feet, Medhurst. Heinrich. Broadbent covering a lot of territory trying to defend. Alison Broadbent's going to leave nothing unspent out there tonight. Some talk that it may not be a return next year for Alison. We'll see. She doesn't want to die wondering. Cox. Short. Poynton. Not many rebounds being taken tonight. You want to look after these and score from it, especially for the Thunderbirds. 2 apiece only, the rebounds. Partly because the Swifts haven't missed many.
Makes it hard to get a rebound if you don't miss, doesn't it?
Vantage contact centre. Vantage contact, Wayne.
Medhurst.
On the ball, goal defence.
Broadbent gives up another penalty.
Yes.
5. Ellis 8. 7 in the middle for Gilson. 31 to 22. And Broadbent makes amends.
Vantage obstruction shooter.
Gilson. A very fluid mover around the court. She's saying before the game, Eloise, that she wants to contribute more in attack. I mean, she's coming from a wing defence background to centre, where you've got a 50-50 role.
Yeah, well, I think she just wants to improve in that area. If she could find a weakness in herself, that's what she would say. But I think this year she's done a tremendous job. You know, the way the ball has moved in attack in the Swifts lineup, it's been fantastic.
And for Catherine Cox, 4,500 Commonwealth Bank Trophy goals.
Phenomenal. It's a great amount.
They lead it by 7, and we're over halfway through the second quarter. They led by 10 at half-time in the major semi. Just on track for a repeat of that performance.
Yep.
Heinrich. Now it's a neat bounce pass to find Laura von Berto and Medhurst. A little bit of a hand on the shooting arm.
There was, but it was much better shot. A great follow-through at the end. Something she didn't do on the last shot.
Pratley is off to Doreen. Had Kirby Mutton turning herself inside out. And they're getting there a little easier than the Thunderbirds are at the other end.
They are. It's 1 or 2 passes and it's in to the goaling position. So Thunderbirds are really having to be patient. Look, that's okay as long as you keep control of the ball and you keep possession and you score off it. As long as you're doing that, then, you know, you're in the game.
Medhurst.
Short keeper.
22-16. I think in the last 5 minutes of the second quarter, the Thunderbirds have got to do a little bit better than go goal for goal. They'll start taking something out of the margin now.
They have to start taking some clean intercepts or rebounds and scoring off those opportunities.
Contact. Goalkeeper underneath her.
Contact ready. That's a shame because the path of the ball was interrupted by the net. Julie Fitzgerald in charge of a fantastic side here. 5 current Australian players. Broadbent used to. Oh, no. Nat Bomberto has taken a heavy fall.
The ball's put up into space there. These are what Liz Ellis loves to go for now. You know, could she have pulled out? Maybe. Or it's one of those hard ones to call. The umpire was right there, so...
And there's the dad of the Bombertos, Terry, and son, Matt.
They have seen themselves on the big screens here, and he's like, I don't want to look, I don't want to look.
Well, Terry was quite an athlete himself, played for North Adelaide and Norwood. And as he rules in Adelaide, Medhurst.
Defence contact.
Laura.
Goal defence outside the circle. Over her.
By 7 at the Swifts. Close to a held ball. That's not.
Well, she is putting a balk on the ball, on the shot, in the hope that Liz Ellis will jump and then be out of play.
If she doesn't, of course, you run the risk.
I think you're in trouble.
Pratley. The Swifts are just taking apart the Thunderbirds' defence. They're getting into their attacking circle with a minimum of passes.
Which will be interesting to see what Margane Gove does, the coach of Thunderbirds, whether she makes changes and brings on. She has got 2 good defenders sitting on the bench.
Contact wing defence.
She's got options.
Yes.
Gerard, the contact, reasonably disciplined at 8 penalties in almost half a game. 4 minutes till half-time.
Went to face goal defence.
So Broadbent's out of play.
Yeah, unfortunate by Broadbent. You saw Liz Ellis there behind. She was trying to hold her so she wouldn't fall in on it, and that's great teamwork between the 2 Swifts defenders.
As long as your skirt doesn't fall off.
Well, you can't. It's the bodysuit. The whole thing would have to come off.
Gilsonen. Off hands to Pratley.
They're the ones the Thunderbirds actually have to intercept. That ball wasn't a great feed in. It wasn't high, and it was capable of taking. And unfortunately for the Thunderbirds, they didn't grab the intercept while it was there. Unlike the other end.
Oh, big call against the Thunderbirds. And the Swifts, as they move this one down court again. Oh, what a pass from Gerard.
Took, I think, Alison Broadbent by surprise as well.
And the Thunderbirds never recovered from that Gerard pass, I think. It was so quick and so clever.
And when you look here, out of defence, the intercept occurs. Gilsonen, she had 2 hands on it. It's a clean intercept. Well done.
Gilsonen. And Poynton picks up the disputed ball, and Green nearly had it. Poynton. Laura Bomberto. Nat Medhurst. Gerard. They're playing state league games midweek. The club just can't stop her playing.
No, I think what happened is when she came back from her knee reconstruction, she needed it for match play, and she's loved it so much she doesn't want to leave.
Well, the 4 other state league teams in Sydney go, do I have to?
Contact wing attack.
Contact is against Kimberley Green.
Well, you do what works for you as well. If you think that helps your performance and game by playing extra court time, then so be it. You can't fault her this year.
Gerard's missed the last 2 grand finals because of injury, so she really wants to make this one count. And they're doing that. Heinrich on the fingertips. One-handed take the second time. And Ellis held off well.
She certainly did, and she didn't go for the big fly because the body was in front of her. She timed it well. Just put them off.
A holding call against Cox, who shoots a withering look at Nikki Boyd. And Pratley says, I'll help you out. Contact again against Cox. Oh, now we got some action.
We certainly have a look at, you know, they're both pushing, I would say, in that defensive end for Reddy and Cox. So I don't know how the umpire calls those ones.
50-50. Well, maybe she'll make them 50-50. Few for you, few for the other. You can argue about it later. Heinrich, that's a better one. I think she should be letting it go first time.
Exactly, and it is hard to do. Look, having played on Liz Ellis, she's a big intimidator on that shot, but you've got to learn to just focus on what you're doing and put it straight up.
Contact keeper.
I know how hard it is out there for them. I'm feeling their pain.
Yes.
Hey, were you 5 grand final wins for one
no,
loss?
It was painful the whole time. It wasn't enjoyable to when the umpire's whistle blows at the end.
Broadbent and Ellis combined for the rebound. Green gives it off before her feet got her in trouble. Gerard floats one to Pratley. Green under the eyes of Norma Plummer, hoping to impress the national coach and selectors to win a place on the tour to New Zealand in 6 weeks' time.
Well, by the way, the Swifts are playing. Why wouldn't you play most of this lineup in that team? At the moment, playing brilliantly.
And again, the score's looking very similar to the major semi. It was 29-19 at halftime a fortnight ago. 27-19, 28 coming. Norma Plummer and Sue Kenny, coach and selector there. Norma's just about lost her voice apparently at the moment. She's got a bit of a sore throat. Medhurst doesn't get the shot away. No goal there. And 28-19, and a 9-goal deficit for the... Here we go, third quarter. And there's an early touch for Laura Umberto. The turnover they need to give some momentum to a comeback. So Edwards on its goal defence, but it's Fellows and Edwards who are the circle defenders now. And Poynton has moved from goal defence to wing defence. So Reddy and Mutton get the rest. Heinrich and Medhurst a swap at the front. No changes for the Swifts. I think I mentioned at the start of the game they might make some changes if they're out by 15.
Well, I don't think they will. I think you'd want to go home with it, even if you are up. You put this lineup on for a reason, and it's to do a good job and to win a final.
A little bit of an insult to the opposing coach.
I don't think they'd do that.
Go hard or go home.
Yeah.
Kath Cox, 20 from 22.
Now, certainly in this second half, what the Thunderbirds must do, every time they get a turnover, they must try and score off it. They can't let any opportunity go to waste.
These passes are right on the edge for the Thunderbirds.
Goal shooter, causing, sorry, goal attack. Causing doesn't matter.
Causing call against Heinrich. Questioning Nikki Boyd about that one.
Well, it was one that I actually mentioned early, the fact that if you can get caught when you're trying to set a screen, pushing in with the body. That's what's been called.
Pratley, long ball to Broadbent. Juggled it, took it. Gerard back to Gilson. I think Kimberly Green will be feeling pretty pleased with herself. She's forced the change with Kirby Mutton. Gilson and Cox just pushing off Edwards almost.
It's interesting because when you look at Catherine Cox, no one has stood in front of her yet. Not one defender has got in front of her and really, really muscled it up.
Gilson and
too far away from her.
Cox. Well, Fellows, you expect her to try and play in front?
Well, you would, because she has a little height advantage there. So, yes, get in front and really, really try and go for those high balls in.
Medhurst. Edwards working to Laura Nat Bomberto. The more passes you make the Thunderbirds do in attack, the more likely you are to get a turnover. That's the theory. Just keep them pushing around the circle.
Certainly Von Berto says they're questioning the umpire on saying it's contact on the arm.
Nat Bomberto.
Contact, wing defense!
Heinrich a bit stuck for an option here. The defence is just brilliant.
Wing defense, contact.
Swifts making the Thunderbirds work so hard that by the time Heinrich or Medhurst gets the ball, they'll be breathing pretty heavily.
Contact wing.
Heart will be thumping. It's taken a minute to get to this point. Medhurst better make it count. Heinrich puts it through.
That little shooter-to-shooter is actually good.
And I'm sure you recognise that face. Ruth Aitken is here, the Silver Ferns coach. The 3 internationals we play the middle of next month. Norma Plummer returned the favour early in the year. She was over in New Zealand to see their National League final. Because Australia won the last match that the 2 countries played, giving Norma Plummer some hope for what's to come.
Sorry, ladies.
Tougher over there, though.
Both out.
It is when you go over there. Look, they're household names, so it's actually brilliant atmosphere to play there.
Pass or shot, where the shooter is.
So Pratley for her 10th. The pride of Bega, Susan Bradley. Ellis again. Oh, she had a name all over that. An utter mismatch with Laura Bomberto.
Wing attack, contact.
Oh.
When you look at this ball down court, Poynton's put it up. She knew as soon as she let it go, she thought, I shouldn't have done that, because Alice loves those. She comes back for them all the time.
Pass or shot.
Switch by 12 now.
Obstruction, pass or shot. Just where you are,
In the circle, so Pratley can take it. Baseline.
Obstruction.
11 from 11. I'll tell you who'd be liking this performance from Pratley, and that's Norma Plummer. And from Cox, of course. Gerard. Cox, Gilson, and great jump. Pratley, too good for Edwards. That Bomberto. Contact against Green. Who smiles, shakes the head, as you can do when you're this far in front in the grand final. But there's still a long way to go. We've only had 5 minutes of the third quarter. Heinrich.
Great move by Heinrich then. She repositioned and kept offering, which was a great thing. You've got to do that all the time. It's such tough work down there.
Pratley, really no pressure there on the centre pass. Beautifully floated ball to the corner from Cox.
Centre offside.
But drifted offside there.
On the ball, goalkeeper. Contact. Advantage
Fellows,
offside, wing
no
defence.
question the effort.
Yeah, it was unfortunate because it was good thought went into that.
Advantage moving, keeper.
And Pratley, steady as she goes at 13 from 13.
That's actually very unlucky there for Selena Gilson, because it probably came off Laura.
Slow progress down the court for the Thunderbirds.
Just up where you are.
Throw in. Laura and Matt Bomberto. Heinrich.
Contact.
Broadbent acknowledges the call. Contact from Nikki Boyd.
Advantage offside,
Strong drive by Heinrich. When you take a ball like that, the umpire is clear that there's a contact that's happened.
Ellis. Mr. Amble's back. Time now on the Swift side, even though we're still got 23 minutes to go. Gilson and 2 on Gerard, so that frees up Broadbent. Gilson into Green. Oh, Cox. Now, that was a great ball from Kimberly Green. She was blocked initially, lifted over the top.
It was actually a fantastic feed because she nearly let go of that ball in the initial drive by Cox, but Cox dodged back into the circle and she put it up for a lob.
Tremendous understanding between Cox and Green. This bounces it for the advantage of Laura Bomberto. Heinrich running away with the flight of the ball. And there's Ellis. And 5 rebounds, 6 rebounds to 2. 4 of them belong to Liz Ellis.
And that's sort of the problem for the Thunderbirds. If they miss their goals, they don't get the chance for the rebound because they don't have that height on the Swiss defence.
Obstruction, wing defence.
Obstruction against Poynton. And behind us, we're doing a bit of lip reading there, I think.
Goalkeeper, pass or shot.
Pratley. And 14 from 14. I just think that probably Marg Angove's made the changes that she can, and it's looking worse by the moment. 37-22. They've been held to 3 goals in this quarter, the Thunderbirds. To 10. 10-3. Broadbent.
It's extremely well read by Broadbent, but could have actually been just about being a replay, because once you touch the ball, if you drop it and you recollect it, it can often be called as a replay.
Not always. You might be. It can be.
Depending on what the umpire sees.
Depends how it looks. So Broadbent
comes through for the intercept, touches it a couple of times.
I don't think they call that as a replay because Broadbent had a go at it.
Wait for my time on call. Go wait for the whistle.
Cox. So the defensive lineup for the Thunderbirds has Fellows at the back, Edwards and Poynton. Pratley still on 100. It's going to a grand final, as the Swifts are doing here. Shoot 40 from 42.
Bring it in.
You need to stop that in order to have an opportunity or a chance to try and take it to them.
Well, the Swifts and Thunderbirds are the best defence and best attacking teams in the league. The trouble for the Thunderbirds is when they come to play the Swifts, they can't score more than 50. They've scored 40, 49 and 42 goals in their 3 matches to date. And at just 23 goals, the Thunderbirds might struggle to get near 50. I'm sure they will.
And certainly, I know in previous finals, you know, if you score over 50, you're generally in with a running of winning the final. So, you know, it's something that they need to look at.
Thank you.
So we'll stop-start third quarter this one, but lowest score for the Thunderbirds in the grand final was 32. Heinrich, lowest score actually by any team in the grand final. Medhurst.
Much better play there by the Thunderbirds. They worked it onto the circle with short, sharp movements, and then Medhurst presented well. They've got to keep that up.
Green.
Wing defence obstruction. You're stepping into it.
Edwards just having the penalty clarified by Sharon Kelly. Cox.
Does not look like missing.
Penalty counts evened out, Eloise. 47 all. The Swifts had a few more against them earlier in the match. Can you read anything into that?
Contact
I
quick.
think at the end of the day, the Thunderbirds had to go in with a big dip at everything. So, you know, for some things, I'll go in hard and can't pull out on it. But that was great hands then by the 2 shooters, combining well.
And that is just their 6th goal for the quarter. Gilsonen, Pratley.
Thunderbirds playing a zone here, taking up space, and it's worked for them.
Yeah, as Poynton pulls one down. Fellows gives it straight back to Gilsonen. Really athletic, flexible take, can I say, from Gilsonen.
Contact.
Twisting and turning. Pratley converting 16 from 16. Laura von Berto.
I'd like to see the statistic on when the Thunderbirds take an intercept and when they throw it away. It happens a lot, actually.
Oh, Broadbent, but unfortunately... Oh, Heinrich. Who wants it? The sideline has it. In fact, the back line. And Ali Broadbent took a sizzler of an intercept. He's got a pair of complaining knees these days. They've both been reconstructed, Alison Broadbent, and she... I think she's looking forward to days when she doesn't do this to herself a few times a week.
All the training as well. It's not just the playing.
Pratley still to miss an attempt. And by 19 now. They led by 9 at half-time.
Oh, great work. Just a little dodge there. Opened up nicely straight under the post.
And they're now starting to enjoy themselves, the Swifts.
This is all looking far too easy for the Swifts now. Little dodge there. Demelza, I don't think knew she was there. Demelza Fellows.
Heinrich answers at the other end. But Margan Gove knows, I think, that she just doesn't, as she once described it to me, doesn't have the cattle to run with the Swift. It's not a very flattering way to describe your team, but it's a term we sometimes use, isn't it? To describe the troops, the team, the squad. You know,
I don't have the supermodels to go out there or something. Make it sound a lot better.
No, she didn't
cattle.
At least she didn't call them heifers.
Oh, well. That might be next.
46-26. Gerard,
yeah, it was actually causing, because what happened is Gerard took the intercept. She must have room to land, and it didn't happen.
And she wasn't going to pull out for anybody.
So the swing wasn't far enough, but she took the ball and she needs to land. Probably could have been play on, just to make it look spectacular.
The Swifts out by a very impressive, convincing 21, with a minute and a bit to go in the third. Fellows looming large. I made a comment before that you could view it as an insult to the opposition to make changes at three-quarter time. On the other hand, you've got these players on the bench who've contributed all year. You can mount an effective counter-argument to that. And I wouldn't be surprised if Julie Fitzgerald at some point did give some of those players on the bench a bit of a run.
Well, you might look at someone like a Murphy who has probably earned, having played National League with the Darters, certainly probably earned her strap out there, but I'm not sure about the others. I'd rather win and win convincingly.
I think they probably want to leave the Thunderbirds with a bit of a message for next year. Green and Pratley. On the Swifts bench, you've got players like Leah Short, who played in the first game of the season down in Melbourne when they were missing a couple. Cox and Broadbent couldn't play the first. It's Sean Mungo and the physio again indicating under 30 seconds left in the third quarter. A quarter seriously dominated by the Swifts.
Oh, that ball does not want to miss. Now, that would normally bobble out.
It would. But not when you're in front and not when you're Susan Pratley. The 22 is a fantastic player for the present and the future as the Swifts kick the margin out to... underway. Advantage break, and I think that's... you often have to call advantage on those centre passes as we begin the last quarter with the Swifts 49 to 27. Pratley's on 19 from 19. Medhurst and Heinrich swapping back as they begun the match, and Reddy back on at goalkeeper. Well, despite Margango making a number of changes to the T-Birds lineup, she was unable to halt the scoring spree from the Swifts or stop the magic rhythm of this premiership winning side as they continue the job in the fourth quarter. As a team, I don't think they could possibly have the shooting in a grand final. He's going to tell me he's got everything. 85%. That crummy Melbourne Phoenix team, Ella. That was against the Thunderbirds, but it was pretty flash too. I tell you, anything over 90% is going to win you a grand final. As Medhurst puts through a lovely shot, and she's at 86%. Nothing wrong there.
Well, when you talk about percentages, it's a way of crushing the opposition. Like, there's nothing worse when you've worked your absolute backside off to try and get those intercepts, and then the goalers score. Every time. It's just so disheartening.
Doesn't allow you to take any rebounds. 3 rebounds for the Thunderbirds. So the 3 shots that the Swifts have missed, they've taken the rebound.
They've called Catherine Cox there for forcing the ball into Reddy's hand, who had her hands up early and ready for it.
Ellis, that was too short. She had front position, and she helps herself to another. And she knows they're just 6.5 minutes away from celebrating as the crowd gets into it. Like something they saw in the circle. Pratley struggling to get the ball off, but it's found its way to Cox through Green.
Yeah, smart feed by Green. She could have gone into Pratley, the easy option, but she looked up and forked it and put it into Catherine Cox.
Pratley didn't see that one coming, but took it anyway.
Intimidation, keeper, shot or pass.
Intimidation against Reddy. Pratley steps in. 25. Didn't she know she hasn't missed? Of course she would.
I feel like I don't want to shoot it anymore.
Yeah, we talked about that. Laura Bomberto to Edwards. Put that one in the face. It got a deflection off Green. And Norma Plummer would see some very good signs here. I mean, she's almost obliged to pick Green and just add to that club combination. Wayne Bennett, the Brisbane Broncos coach, said to the team before one of the tests against New Zealand, don't be afraid of that club combination that you've got there with the Swifts.
Use it.
So, with Ellis and Gerard, Gilson and Ruth Aitken, I don't know what she's making of all of this. Heinrich and Medhurst. Well, a strange grand final, this one. It was kind of in the pocket of the Swifts by 3/4 time. They're going on with it here to win it by over 20. A better last quarter from the Thunderbirds. Bit of a sting out of it.
That was not... I can't believe that they got away with that. The Swifts man, there was a big contact there by Ali Broadbent.
Talk us through it.
When you have a look at this, it's set up there over the arm by Broadbent. And what the problem was the umpire was way out of position, so couldn't see it.
Well,
You know, when you're having
Fitzgerald is smiling now, so too Jenny O'Keefe.
When you're having a bad day at the office, those things really dig deep when you think, I can't even get the, you know, the free shot.
Yeah. By 25 now, the Swifts. They've got to 60. That's going to win you most matches, especially when you hold the Thunderbirds to this score.
Manage centre obstruction.
25 was the margin for the Swifts over the Thunderbirds in 2001, Todd. Thank you. As Ellis on to Green. Oh, and a good tip there from Laura von Berto to get the Thunderbirds going forward again. Ellis. She was way out of the circle.
There was a contact on the ball because Natalie had hold and possession of it. That's why she's out of play.
Heinrich puts the roll on, but Broadbent followed her.
The problem has been when they have flicked the ball out, there's been so much pressure by the wing defence and centre, so Gerard and Gilsonen on the edge of that circle, making it so tough for them to find a passage of play.
Ellis. Broadbent over to Gerard. He's got some tricks that most other players haven't even thought of.
Well done, Reddy. Smart play. She's falling out of court. She thought, no, the option is to whack it onto Cox's leg and got the throw in for herself. Well done.
Edwards. Cox. Oh, yeah. That's just about dribbling. That's a dribble.
I think she thought, oh my gosh, that's a long way down. I'm so tall. Got to pick that ball up.
So the highest score in a grand final is 62. That was the Thunderbirds against the Ravens. Remember the Adelaide Ravens? 1999. And I think the Swifts might just at least match that. Gerard, rocket pass to Green. And so the starting 7 are going to finish the job for the Swifts.
Advantage upside, advantage contact.
The Swifts were a player short last year. Once Gerard was knocked out halfway through the season, they were never really, I don't think, had that cattle to beat Phoenix, and you whacked them by 17 in the grand final, and that's what Liz Ellis wants to make up for. It's not against Phoenix, but it is against the team that is the second best this year in the Thunderbirds. Thunderbirds beat Phoenix several times this year to deserve their place in the grand final, but I think they'll be the first to say that the Swifts were too good today. Medhurst off to Heinrich. Lovely combination they've had all year. It's only been allowed to reveal itself from time to time here. And she is soaking this up, Julie Fitzgerald. It's all very well to have a great team like this, but you've got to bring the best out of them.
That was brilliant play there by Selena Gilson. And what she did do is see that the defender's eyes were down and placed the ball straight in.
And Pratley got one for trouble here.
Beautiful pass. She says she has problems with her attacking play.
Laura von Berto finishing it as hard as they can, the Thunderbirds. And that will please Margango. Give it the full 60 minutes. It spills through the hands of Nat von Berto. Pratley, some tired teammates out there. She was waiting for support. And they just want the clock to finish now. And Kimberly Green.
This is the time, actually, they can probably start enjoying it.
Well, I almost didn't want Pratley to get the ball there because she is that close to the perfect game as Kirby Mutton looks on and thinks what might have been. Pratley, 26 from 26. Still trying in defence. And the throw in.
They can't even bring it out of defence. They're having it. Wow, they're hating it.
Gilsonen.
They're wanting it to be over.
Pratley up to Cox. And this will finish it. They know. The crowd knows. The coaching staff know. 4,500 know. The Swifts have completed the dream season.
Fantastic effort by the Sydney Swifts. You can see them embracing.
65 to 36, the highest score ever in a grand final. This is a quality side.